everyone, this is Cindy Luby and welcome back to Cindy's Cards and More. Today is Wednesday and it was time for me to do another quick and easy card. Well, over on Paper Crafts by Elaine on Monday, I decided to do a series of cards doing the Sunshine and Rainbows that would be very quick and easy cards with the main focus of being this wonderful and cheery paper that you can get for free with a $50 order, but only through the rest of this month. This actually ends the end of February. But this Sunshine and Rainbows is a 6x6 pack, and you actually get 48 sheets, and you get 12 designs of 4 each. So you really do get a lot of variety. This paper is so much fun and cheery that you can do all sorts of cards with it. So let me show you what I did with the cards. I'll give you a sneak peek of what I did over at Paper Crafts by Elaine. These are the cards that I made, and I just use the 6x6 paper. Some of them I matted, some of them I didn't. I used the oval punch that had the regular oval as well as a scallop. And then I used the flag on our dual punch to make a flag for a couple of these cards. But as you can see, I made a couple of them that they're similar, but they're all with different color combinations of paper. So that's what I did. So go and view that over at Paper Crafts by Elaine, and you can look at what I did over there. So I decided to continue with that. I did use the Peaceful Moments stamp set, using all of the same sentiments. So I did a happy birthday, congratulations. But let me show you this wonderful paper. So these are the papers that you get in here, and they are so much fun. Look at all these different stripes and patterns. You get clouds, which would be kind of fun. There's a punch we have in our spring catalog that would be fun, and you could even put a sentiment on that. Look at this next stripe. You've got diagonals. Then you've got all of these little rainbows that are so different patterns, different looks, all sorts of different things. And then let me show you the back side. All these pretty patterns that you can use also as a complement. If you don't want to use the rainbows, there's all sorts of patterns back here that you can use to complement your paper. Lots and lots of pretty colors that you can use, different patterns. They all go together, and I'm going to show you a little of that today. But so many fun things. And remember, on the back of all of our paper packs, when it comes to our designer series paper, we list what all the colors that we use in that paper pack. So it's very easy for you to come up with some ideas on what cardstock you want to use or what colors you want to try to match with these. So that gives you another idea. So my first card today, and I'm actually going to be using the Many Happenings and Many Messages stamp set. Now it comes with this die, and it goes for both of these stamp sets. Let me tell you, these things are great, because what you can do with this is that you can go ahead and cut a lot of these out, and what I do is that then I bundle them in a package, so when I'm looking for a sentiment, or maybe I didn't even use this one yet, all I have to do is get out my die, and I have all sorts of different colors that I can choose from, so I don't always have to go through and do that whole set all again. I've got Highland Heather in here, I've got Early Espresso, I've got different colors. This is just Jade. Evening Evergreen, all sorts of different ways to do that. Just put them in your little packages there. Then you can kind of thumb through to see what you're looking for. But there are so many great small sentiments in here that would be great to put on your cards. You don't sometimes all need all these other ones. So you can do, this has got a to and from on it. You've got birthdays, you've got congratulations, all sorts, happy anniversary, all sorts of sentiments. These are a great staple for your crafting supplies. So let me show you the first card I'm going to do today. I decided to use some of the scraps that I had left over from the cards that I made on Monday. So what I did is I went ahead and picked up my colors, and this is Magenta Madness and Pool Party, and then I'm doing Basic White, And then I just cut strips of this. This is 3/4 of an inch by 3 inches, and I just cut strips, and I'm actually going to line these up. So, because again, all of these patterns and the colors go together, so why not use your scraps to make another card? So the other thing that I love to do is I love to use our grid paper as a guide and a ruler. So when you're trying to line up and instead of trying to eyeball it all, and sometimes my eyeballs aren't too straight, is that I go ahead and try to line this up, and I line up my card on the grid, one of the grid lines here, and then I try to line up my ruler, and I'm just kind of use the bottom edge, I believe, of these little marks. And I'm going to try to do this so I know what the even is, because this is 4 1/4, so I kind of want to go in about, I believe, an inch. So what you can do is you can start playing with this, a 1/2 inch, I'm sorry, and then kind of see where you would be on lining these up so you have a little bit of even spacing on them. That's the key on this. I didn't want to have too much of spacing on it in between, because I want them to kind of match up, but I do want them to kind of be in line here. So what I'm saying is that, see how I'm just kind of playing with it a little bit, because the key on this is that if you get both edges about the same, then you can kind of fill in the middle in between, and that's the key of how I try to line things up. And then what I'm going to do is I'm using one of the sentiments here. The world needs more people like you. That's the sentiment I'm going to use. And then I have another sentiment I'm going to put on the inside of the card. So on this, I would suggest, because you might want to move it a little bit, is that you use your tape runner on this. And then you can go back and glue it down if you want. But I find that unless you've marked them all, it's going to be a little bit of a challenge. Let's see, I think I want to go right there. A little bit of a challenge to get it all lined up if you want to move it and you've already got it glued down. Then you're in trouble. All right, let me get my spot even here again. So really I want to do, it's a little crooked there, so I'm going to start even again. Here we go. And I think that's about right. Okay, and then I'm going to go ahead and do this end, because I kind of lined up how I wanted my pieces to go. Well, I don't want my two things there. There. I want that, and I want these two in the middle. So that's how you kind of have to play with your design a little bit, is you kind of have to see how you want everything to go. See, I did about, there we go. Again, this is just eyeballing, and I'm not going to be precise in my measurements. I'm really just trying to use the bottom here. So my bottom and my top are about the same. That's the key. I'm not going to try to get measurement that's exactly precise in between each one. This, my cards don't do that. My cards are I just want to try to make things even. That's all I'm trying to do. So I'm just going to kind of eyeball it here a little bit. Do a little bit of tape runner in each. And again, once you get them put down, then you can go back and put some glue on them if you want. But I find that this is the easiest way, just to kind of, again, handmade card, if you want things to be exactly, that doesn't work. To me, a handmade card is that it is not going to be, if you actually measure that. But the eye is very forgiving. And as long as it's not Willy Wonkered, meaning it's going in a different direction, you're good. So me, that's the key, is making sure that the top and the bottom are somewhat even. This looks like it's pretty even space. So now I can kind of go back through. If I wanted to put some glue on there, I can, or I'm just going to finish this with my tape runner, because I'm pretty happy with how these pieces are laid down. And I think this will work for me. But again, you just kind of play with it. But use your tools in your craft room. That's the key, is you really want to use, I always use my ruler for a lot of things, just to give me a little bit of a guide. Okay, I think I'm doing good there. So I'm going to go ahead and put these two colors down together. Again, this is going to be my Pool Party on top of my Magenta Madness. You could do polished pink too, but I wanted to do something a little bit bolder on this one. I like these two colors together. And again, I think it really makes these colors pop. So it really kind of adds that. And then I'm going to be doing, I did a little bit of a different pink here. I did polished pink, but I'm just adding, again, this has got lots of color on it, so why not add some more color to it? As long as you're doing different shades, that's fine. Now on here, this has a little bit of an inverted arrow on it, so I decided just to I put this piece down and I trimmed it around, and then I thought what I would do is just use my snips to mimic and use that as my outline, and then that way, see, you already have the piece that would match it. That's just another quick and easy tip in order to make this so it works. So that way it mirrors that piece, and then you don't have to use a punch or anything. You can just glue it down and then snip it up. There we go. Now you can go ahead and put so dimensional on here if you wanted, but I'm going to make this one flat. And I think I got that pretty even too, and I'm going to put that now on as my layer. You can go ahead and use your glue if you don't want to use your tape runner. That's completely up to you, but this makes it easy. So isn't that cute? And I think putting those layers behind it really makes that pop. I think that's a kind of fun way to do it. And then so I'm going to do my basic white on the inside here. And I'm going to go ahead and put that in my card. And then I chose, thank you for being my friend, is my sentiment that I'm going to use for the inside of the card. So I don't have to stamp anything. I'm just going to use that as my sentiment there. And then, you know, one of the things, and I think I've lost some of them now. Oh, there they are. They're behind my stamps here. One of the things that this actually, when you actually go and put your die in, you get stars and hearts all throughout this die, and it actually helps you line things up if you use those stars and hearts as you've got your let me show you on this one piece. This is another tip that I can show you on how to do this. Since I have one that's not cut out, what I mean is when you stamp this, and I stamp it on my Stamparatus, so I make sure that I get a good imprint of all of that. If you try to do it by yourself and not use your Stamparatus, sometimes it will not stamp evenly. Sometimes you need to go back and stamp it again, because that's just the way it goes. But what I mean by using those hearts and stars is that if you line that up with, see how if it's not, then it's going to be a little off, but if you line those stars up and your hearts up that are actually stamped, it makes it a lot easier for this to line up, and then that way all of your sentiments are going to be even. So when you do that, I just use a little bit of Post-it note tape or use a Post-it note and hold that down, and then that way your sentiments will be nice and even. So that's just another tip too that I was going to tell you about when you're using these stamps and die. Now I did get some pieces out of here. So instead of having a naked card inside, you know me, I don't like to do that, is that I'm actually going to use, let's see, I can go ahead and use my, I don't know what happened to my Pico tool, but I'm going to go ahead and use my glue, and I'm just going to add a little bit, oops, got a little glue goober there, I'll tell you. You know how it is when you start with your glue. And if you just press that down, put a little dot of glue in there. I think this is just another way of using the pieces you have and add this to your card, and it's kind of fun to add the little hearts and stars. And then I can add another heart over here. Oops, I got stuff going everywhere here. I'm going to put a little heart over here. Now, where's my heart? I had my heart right here. There we go. There we go. And then maybe I do There's a little bitty star here. All right. So I can do that, and now you've added a little bit of something on the inside of your card, which is kind of fun, so it's not naked. The other thing you could do is, like I did in some of my other cards, I took one of the strips and I just put it down the side of the card too to add a little bit of dress in the inside of the card. So all sorts of different things that you can use. So there's your first card. Isn't that cute? And again, all I did was use my leftover strips that I did from the cards that I made on Monday. All right. Now my second card is, I love these colors here. So I decided to use Pool Party. This is Flirty Flamingo. Again, these are the colors that are in this pattern paper. I got stuff stuck to me everywhere. All right. And I'm going to go ahead and stick this down. And all I did was layer them. So I was deciding which was which one did I want to put on top and which one did I want to put on the bottom. But I decided to do Pool Party as my bottom layer, Flirty Flamingo, and then my pattern paper. I just love this pattern paper. I thought it was so pretty. I love the colors in it. All right, so I just layered that. And then what I decided is I'm using Shaded Summer as another one of my sentiments because I loved that it had Happy Birthday and I have Love You Friend, and I wanted to just kind of send a friend a card. So I chose the Some Friendships Are Just Meant to Be. And I decided to cut one of the other patterns that I have in my paper pack. And this is the Happy Hippo dies. I love these hippo dies. They're very versatile. Lots of things you can do. It's got all different shapes. They're like a staple in my... and I don't think I'm going to match. I think I want to make that so it's kind of off-center a little bit on the way it's done, so it's not going up or down or across. Just kind of make it sideways a little bit. But I loved this sentiment, and I thought it would be kind of fun to layer it to make that sentiment pop a little bit. Again, you can put a dimensional on the back, but I decided that I'm going to take a little bit of our ribbon from our main catalog. I've been trying to use a little bit more of our ribbon, and that I'm going to kind of just do a little bit of back and forth with the ribbon to kind of add a little bit of something behind the card. Kind of adds a little bit of something to it, kind of dresses it up a little bit. So I think I kind of have an idea there. And the one thing you can do is you can glue this down. I can put some, I think I'll just put some tape runner behind here so some of that will stick as I'm kind of putting it in, kind of doing it this way. And then kind of loop it so it kind of sticks out a little bit, and then loop it back. So with that tape runner, see how it's kind of sticking to it, so I can kind of move it around. If you did the glue, you wouldn't be able to do that as much because it would be kind of stuck. So I kind of wanted to do something so it's not quite sticking out of the card, so I want to make that a little bit shorter. Because you kind of have to measure what your card is because you don't want it to overlap too much, but you want something that kind of gives it a little dress up for that, a little something different. So I'm going to do that, and I think I kind of like that, and I can trim that. I'm not going to make this all even. I'm going to kind of make that stick out a little bit, and then I'm going to put that over on the other side. So I think I'm good with that. So I'm going to just go ahead and put some tape runner down here just to kind of make sure it sticks. And then I can go back and glue that if I want. Then I'm just going to kind of take my snips and snip the edges a little bit so it has a little bit of a finish to it, and that really does dress up the back side of this sentiment. Sentiment's a little on the little Willy Wonka side here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull that up a little bit and straighten it up. There we go. Much better. All right, so I can go ahead and glue this down now because this is where I want everything. Can glue down this other side just a way. Sometimes I use my tape runner as a way to position things, and then if I really want to, then I can go ahead and glue things down because then I'm satisfied of where it is. Now, you can dress this up a little bit too. I love our new gems, and these are Trying to figure out that these are iridescent gems. I love these. These are so pretty. Really just add something to the card. So I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of little gems around the card just to kind of dress it up. You know, you can always use, that's why I love embellishments, is that you can always use embellishments to add a little something to your card. It doesn't have to be exact as far as where you place everything. You just kind of do things random. And I always do things in odd numbers. Whoa, I got one flying off here. We'll do one more and we'll put it down here. And that just adds a little something, a little bling to the card. I think it adds just a little dress up. And then on the inside of this one, I think I'm going to say some friendships are meant to be. So let's see. I think I'm going to go above and beyond. You go there a lot. I think I'm going to say that on the inside of the card. So let's see. I think this is above and beyond. There we go. Nope, that's not it. I got to get the right one here. I don't have my backings on there. I've just been so busy. I hadn't even put them on yet. So I guess I need to do that. I have it on a few of them, but not on all of them yet. Sometimes you just get to going on things and then you don't finish putting all your pieces together, but that's, you know, that is the way it goes. All right, so the only thing I need on here is that I need a piece of cardstock, which I can cut. I haven't done that yet. So that will be my 4 by 5 1/4. Love to do my, gotta have something for the inside. And there we're going to go, and I'm going to go ahead and do Magenta Madness on that too. Have that on the inside. This one. You know, we got to do our test. All right. I'm going to do that. And again, you can put something else inside. You could do a piece of your cardstock. Either one of those would work. As far as doing a little dress up on the inside of the card, it really just depends on what you want. You just decide that if that's, sometimes people like to, it's fine to leave it the way it is. I just tend to like to have something on the inside of my cards. I just like to have it kind of not matching the outside, but I just don't like the plainness of the inside of the cards if I don't have something on that to dress it up. So because this doesn't have a stamp, so what you could do is I could even take a different pattern paper. It really doesn't matter. You can just take any of those and then you can go kind of put something in there. You could do, trying to figure, oh, here it is. I found my little sheet of piece. So I think I'll go ahead and put that on the inside, and I can just leave it the way it is. It just kind of adds a little something, and then I can trim it up. I like to have my cards a little dressy on the inside. I don't like them plain. There you go. See, you got plenty of space still to write. I think that makes another really pretty card. Now my last one, I wanted to do a birthday card. So I decided to, I wanted to use this dotted background. I thought it was so cute. So I'm using Granny Green Apple, Misty Moonlight, and those are all the colors in this dotted paper. It is so cute. Isn't that cute? I just love that. See, on the other side, you've got the bold stripes. So on here, I'm going to go ahead and glue these two pieces down, and I decided I was going to do something a little different for this birthday card. And again, I have quite a few scraps left over from all the different cards that I've made so far. So I want to try to maximize my pieces in there. So I decided that I kind of picked out the two colors I wanted, Misty Moonlight and Granny Green Apple. cheery colors. And this could be for a male or female. And I decided to take three of the patterns because of the dots in the background. And I am going to make a birthday cake out of the pattern paper. So that's what I'm going to do here, is that I matted it with all of the misty moonlight behind it, so it gave it some consistency. And I'm going to go ahead and do that. I'm going to go ahead and glue that down, and kind of decided where I wanted things. And then I'm going to put a happy birthday on there from the pieces that I cut out. So I'm going to go ahead and I can go ahead and put that down. All right. And all you do is just kind of eyeball where you want your measurements and how you wanted your cake to start. I wanted to be able to see the either side of this, and I was just trying to kind of visualize what a birthday cake would be like. Even though most of them are round, I'm making mine a little square, but that's okay. But just kind of fills up the card a little bit, makes it kind of fun, something different. Anybody can do this. All you have to do is come up with some squares, come up with that, with kind of the look you want. And then I'm right in the middle here. I'm going to put happy birthday. And all I did was I stamped that. I had cut them out, and then I just matted it with some misty moonlight behind there. And then on the inside, I've got my basic white, my basic white, and I'm putting that there. And then I've got wishing you a year of magical moments and wonderful memories is what I'm putting on the inside. So again, I didn't need a stamp for this one. I'm just using my sentiment there that I had already cut out. And you can still, if you want, since I've got some bling out, you can add some bling to your birthday cake. I think I'll put a little bling on either side of my sentiment here, just to kind of make that pop a little bit. And then on the inside, you could do the same thing. You could take some of your pieces that you have, like I have a little bit of the green, and you could even actually, if you wanted, you could do it even as a diagonal. You could take the different pieces you have, come up with something if you wanted to make your own pattern for a little square, a little diagonal in the middle. You can still do a little stripe, or you could even do something at the bottom, just to add a little something. And since this was the main color here, I think that's what I'll do, is that I'll just put it on the bottom. But you can do all sorts of things. You know, it really just kind of just use your imagination. I'll just do this as maybe just a little strip. Doesn't need anything major. I'm not trying to kind of fill the card up. I just want to try to dress it up a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Yeah, I think that'll work. Put a little bit of tape runner on the bottom of that and stick it at the bottom. And you don't have to do a lot of things to your card to do something. It's just a matter of, look how that adds it with that color, with that granny green apple. It really does add something there. You could have done something at the top, or again, I could have done something a little diagonal in the corner would be fun, of doing all these three colors. That would be kind of fun too. So just use your imagination, but there are your cards for today. We have a happy birthday card, we have a friendship card, and then we have just kind of a hello card. The world needs more people like you. Thank you for being my friend. So you never know. I love getting cards in the mail. It's one of my favorite things. I put them up on my mantle every time I get a card, because I love getting my cards in the mail. So there are your cards for today. And I will see you back here next week, where I will be doing another quick and easy card. I hope everybody has a great day. Bye now.